UK. It's 11 a.m. Central Time. It's Tuesday, and it's time to chat to, meet, and talk to Janet Johnson. Hello, Janet.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a bit cool here at the moment, but we can live with that. We
Us
know
too.
winter's on the way. How about
Yep.
with you? And where are you based?
Yes, Minneapolis area. I'm actually in a town called Farmington. It sounds really like hickish, but
No, no, good.
there actually are cows around here, but I'm real close to Minneapolis, only about a half hour from Minneapolis. So
Okay, good. Now, I suppose the leading question is, when did you become involved in social media?
yeah, social media. Ever heard of MySpace? Yeah, the MySpace time.
I have.
I
Yeah.
was definitely, we thought Facebook was dumb back then, and MySpace was the deal. So it was a while ago. I started online in 1998 selling items on eBay. So
Okay.
that transformed into doing a lot of Google stuff and affiliate marketing and everything. And then that led into moving my business to social media specifically. And that was about, I believe, 2007, 8, somewhere in that
Uh-huh.
range.
Okay. What do you enjoy most about social media?
Just meeting people and having, I believe as an entrepreneur, it's kind of a lonely, you're lonely and you're not meeting people and talking to people. I sometimes barely even leave my home at times, but with tools like Be Live and being able to do my podcast and being able to talk to people through the social media, I've made so many friends, and that's what I love about it. And number two, I have a number two to it. It works
Yeah.
great for business. Obviously, the marketing side of it, and that's what I do. So, especially like Facebook ads and that kind of thing, it's fantastic for business too.
Okay. And Corinda is saying hello. And his question
Hello.
is, where can he find you? Your
Ah,
website.
the easiest is just janetejohnson.com. So it's Janet, put the E in there, Johnson, JOHNSON.com. It's easy as
Brilliant.
that.
Okay. We'll put the link on after the show. Um, and welcome to everybody who's watching. This is the Live Video Hub. I'm talking to Janet. And before the show, we agreed 3 questions. And we're working our way through them. If you've got any questions at all, then please do ask. But we're going to go through a range of topics, all related to social media. And I suppose the first one to ask, because it's very difficult, because you're on, you've got a blog, you've got a Facebook, you've got Instagram, but what's your specialty in business?
Yeah, my big specialty is really lead generation. So mainly using the Facebook and Instagram advertising. And so I really have worked with a lot of clients to drum up lead generation, whether it's local clients, also anybody for a webinar series, something like that. So anything lead generation is really, really my specialty. And then Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, because one of my other sides of my business that I do is I work with real big brand jewelers. And
Mm-hmm.
so in that realm, it's a little bit different. It's not necessarily lead generation. It's more brand awareness because they are bigger brands. So we really focus on those 3 platforms. So those 3 have become my specialty. And Pinterest doesn't get talked about as much lately, it seems like, but Pinterest is a mini search engine, and people don't realize the power that it really
Oh,
has.
right. Okay. Tell us more, because I didn't look at it as a search engine.
Okay. Yeah, it is. I kind of pull it out of even the social media world nowadays. Facebook and Instagram work similar, where they have that feed that goes and you see the people and your friends. It's hard to even get followers, or you don't do friends on Pinterest. But what they've done is they've really built a robust search engine with keywords. And it's all based on keywords. They do use hashtags too. So it's all based on search. So you get found whether you're following the person or not. And with most of my clients and my own business, even my podcast, some of our top traffic drivers are Pinterest, believe it or not. So with the podcast, it beats Google. We've done some special things to make it happen that way, but it's crazy. So for traffic. So it's really great for being found in traffic. It depends on your business too. For jewelers, it makes sense because people are searching for weddings, and weddings is probably the biggest topic on Pinterest. So you got to think of it. Does your business make sense there too? And if it does, then definitely be using Pinterest.
So if images are, or the images look good and attract people, then Pinterest is the way to go.
And if they click on the image, it takes them directly to their website. So it ends up driving the traffic better than, whereas Instagram is great for engagement and brand awareness, but you don't get as much click through because there's only a link in the bio or the swipe up feature in stories. So, yeah.
Right. So I want to wind back. How do you actually get started on Pinterest as a business?
You know, I was doing everything at one point. You know what I mean? Like the Twitter, LinkedIn, the MySpace. I used to do Google, and I used to get people to the top of Google years ago. So I've done them all, but I had a niche. And when I did decide to niche my business into very specific categories, jewelers was my biggest area at that time. So that's why those just made sense. They were the top three: Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest made the most sense for jewelers. So that's kind of how I really knit. I've loved Pinterest for years though. And it's one of those things that, and the reason I did is not just because I don't sit and go around and look for wedding stuff and house trends and that kind of thing. It's more business. I mean, it does work for business if you know what you're doing. That's
the key. That's the key. Yeah. Every place has got its secrets, hasn't it? And you've got to unlock those to actually be able to make use of it. Now, you then went and you then started your own show. So why did you start your own show, and why did you choose Be Live?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things. I have a podcast too. So do you remember the company Blab? I so do. Yes. Okay.
I mean, the thing about Blab is everybody's got fond memories of it.
Yes, yes, everybody does.
Despite the fact it disappeared overnight, everybody's got good memories. Everybody keeps trying to bring it back. And there's one which Corinda will know the name of, and if you can type the name in, Corinda, there is one which is pretty close now. Anyway, I digress. I apologize for that. So we're back to. I do remember Blab. Let's go with that.
We were trying to find. We would record our podcast in Blab after we did for a long time, and we met a lot of people, had a lot of viewers, and then that was repurposed into iTunes. Well, when it went down, we kept looking, and we jumped from thing to thing. We tried, I don't know, Blue Jeans, I believe. I don't know I tried everything. I tried multiple things. Well, we ended up with Zoom. And so we actually do record with Zoom for that at this point. But we are looking to maybe go the live route for the podcast. But our podcast goal is iTunes. So it's different. Well, then after that, I tested Be Live too. I tried Be Live. And then what ended up happening was we decided just to do our recordings of our podcast privately instead of via live. Well, I'm a huge Facebook, Instagram person, and I love lives. And I just decided, I'm like, well, our show is behind the scenes, but I really want to be doing something on my business page. Yeah. So I decided to launch Social Coffee Time, and that is repurposed into the podcast too. So we do take the recording of it and we put that out on iTunes, and we put that in other places. But that is more my own thing, because then it's just social media talk versus I have a partner and a co-host with our other show called Business Growth Time. So they're two different things, but they can work together. So that's kind of why I launched the show, because I just really thought two things. A, you need consistency with your lives. And B, and you can do them randomly too. I get that, but it's good to have the consistency built in. And then number two is just, I really believe the power of live and Be Live is the best I've found to interact with people. And it's just the best I've found.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Interacting with people. I mean, you can go live on YouTube, you can go live on Vimeo, but it's getting the audience. The audience is on Facebook.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And for that reason alone, I mean, when Be Live came out, I mean, that's when we went, now we can talk to people and we can actually see the comments that people are making whilst we're live. If you're just joining the show, this is Janet Johnson talking with Stephen, and we're talking about social media, and we've just got to Janet's show, and we're talking about the benefits of using BeLive to do that. I think the comments thing that was the key. That's the thing. That's why it took off. That's why we took to it, because of the comments. And hopefully later today it will have polls too.
Oh, cool.
Now,
oh, cool.
Which means you can actually do, whilst you're live, you can do a poll. So you can put a question up with options and people can vote whilst you're live. And they did a demonstration of it last night and it works. And it should be released, according to my friend David Burrows, it'll be released later today. And that adds another dimension.
For sure.
So that you get the audience to interact directly. If they don't want to comment, then they will like. If you are watching this moment, please do comment, because we don't have a poll you can take. But next time Janet and I are live, you will be able to take part in polls, because BeLive.tv have integrated that Facebook feature into BeLive, and it's going to make life a lot more interesting.
That's cool. Well, it's all about engagement, so that makes a lot of sense. And the polls on Instagram stories, I do those a lot, and they're fun, and it creates that interaction. So it's great that you're bringing polls in.
Right. So you're actually broadcasting on Instagram as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I do a lot with Instagram stories, especially. I don't do a lot of lives there, though. Right now, my lives are mainly Facebook page with the BeLive, and I do lives in my private groups too.
Okay.
And the reason one of the top reasons I liked BeLive for me was being able to screen share. I like to just be able to switch my screen easily, show people what I'm talking about, because I'm a believer in showing versus just telling. It's hard to explain sometimes. It's easier to show.
Well, I mean, there's a truism which is a picture is worth 1,000 words. And with BeLive, as you say, you can just share your screen and you can talk about and explain more, and people understand what you're talking about, which is good.
Exactly.
Right. Now, you mentioned your podcast a moment ago. How did you start? And you said you do it. How do you actually do it? Because this is things that interest me.
Sure.
So many ways.
Yeah. Actually, we have had it almost 4 years. This coming February will be 4 years, which is crazy. And it was started with a different partner, and she ended up moving on to something different. So then when I was debating, and do I continue podcasting or do I just try something else? And we believe in video. So we do record it via Zoom, because we do believe in video. So we do put it on YouTube too. And then we strip out they give you both in Zoom, the voice and the video. But bottom line is we take and put it out on all the iTunes. That's our goal. More is the podcast side of it, not the video side of it. But when I rejoined somebody, it was actually kind of a funny story. A friend of mine that I went way back from high school, he built the biggest business networking group in Detroit, Michigan. And he's a big business networker. He called me just asking me questions about a podcast and how to do podcasting. He was interested in it. And I said, hey, you know what? My podcast partner just fell out. How would you like to be my partner? So now we've been for 4 years. We have had business growth time. And the two goals are we focus on business growth, but in terms of business networking and social media. So, and online marketing. We talk a lot about video. I think video is brought up in almost every podcast we've ever done. I mean, it just happens to be brought up. We have found that we have an interesting one a couple of months ago, probably just, a little over a month ago, where he's been testing a lot of video on LinkedIn now. So it's kind of interesting to see how LinkedIn's taking off with video, because they were way behind.
Oh, yeah, truly.
But they're picking up pace, and now they remind me of the good old days when video first came out on Facebook, and it was like, ooh, you'd have so much organic reach compared to everything else. Now it seems like LinkedIn, you can get that still, and that will fade too. But we have that power to check out, and we test things, and then we talk about things on our podcast. We also have interviewed some really top-notch people across the board, internet marketing, business marketing, anything like that. We interview also. So we do our own shows and interview.
Now, there's also the real world. We'll talk about the virtual world, but you actually have a social media strategies course.
Yeah. Yep.
Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. So I have two sides of my business. I run the agency side where, like I was mentioning, the big brands, and I still help local businesses. But then what I realized over time of doing this as long as I have is that a lot of people just can't afford those larger fees. So I really wanted to help as many people as I could. So I developed, and I come from elementary education anyway, that's my degree in college. So I wanted to be able to teach people and help people in another format. So I have this, it's a community called Social Strategies 101 Community. And it's interesting, it's going to be the same thing, but we are revamping the name of it right now because we're going to keep the course. I've had this course for 5 years and it's been fixed consistently because you know how social media changes, but it's basics of social media. So it's Social Strategies 101. You need your strategy piece, you need your branding piece. What do you do with content? What do you do with your email marketing? Facebook ads is part of it. So that's all covered in the Social Strategies 101 course. But I took it a level further so that now it's the community where I do 2 calls per month. And I do one where it's a coaching call via Zoom. And then another one, I either use Be Live typically in the group. And then we do some hot seats and we review their content. So there's a couple different add-ons because things change so fast. So I had to kind of push it so that I'm doing a monthly calls with people, and they're in a group so they can ask questions too in a private group.
Yeah, it opens it up because it's 24/7, isn't it?
It is.
If you've got a group, then people can ask questions anytime. Whereas if you've got the video, then people ask questions when you're live, and it sort of disappears.
Exactly.
If only Facebook had a search engine, it's if Facebook search was as good as Google search, then it'd make a world of difference, wouldn't it?
Now that's a whole nother topic. Yeah.
Right. But staying with Facebook, because Facebook is where we are today.
Yep.
And with Be Live, you also run Facebook workshops.
Yeah, I do actually. Yes, I teach. I don't do it too often just because of my community. We do a lot of that in there already. So that's online. But this month, in a couple weeks here, I will be running a Facebook and Instagram ads basics workshop. What it's going to cover, and I think what a lot of people think an audience is on Facebook is, this is what I've heard lots of businesses say. Well, yeah, I built my audience on Facebook, my ad audience. I knew it was women in this geographic location, ages this and this, that have an interest in this. And then they're done. They're done. And I think a lot of people don't realize the power the audiences have, how much deeper they go with video viewer audiences and all these look-alike audiences and all the different custom audiences. So that's what I really delve into in the workshop is audiences and then how to best set up the ads.
Well, yeah, I mean, Facebook, I've got to put my hand up here. Facebook ads are a mystery. So I want to ask you the $64,000 question. Sure. Would you ever boost a post?
Yes, I would boost a post. Mm-hmm.
In what circumstances?
And I do. Well, my bigger clients, the brand awareness side of things, boosting is fine. Boosting is brand awareness. You're trying to reach more people. And as long as you're choosing an audience, you do need to pick your specific audience that you want. The boost has come a long way. Before, when the boost first came out, it was a boost and you could not even choose any type of audience that you wanted. It was awful. So now they've really improved upon it. So you can choose an audience. So yeah, I would hit boost. Is that the end all? If I'm doing a conversion campaign and I want to build leads to an email list, build leads to a webinar, something like that, absolutely not. There's other much better ways.
So where you've got a fixed objective and you're actually marketing something, then it's an ad. Where it's brand, I'm being general here, so forgive me, but where it's brand awareness, there's nothing wrong with boosting. And I mean, boosting has had, as you said, it's had a bad press, but it does work. It does work. And if you're not trying to sell something, you're just trying to make people aware. I totally agree. But your answer is, I know a bit more than I did before, which is always the way it should be.
You know what I always tell businesses when I talk to them, I say, you know what, I'm happy. They said I'd say 50+% of who I talk to when I first talk to them say, yeah, I do ads. I boost it. I hear that a lot. And I always just say, you know what, I'm very happy that at least you're spending money on your Facebook page, because nowadays it's pretty much a pay to play, so boost, if that's all they know how to do, that's totally fine. But I do suggest learn a bit more and get a little bit deeper when you can, because there's a lot more power than they think.
Wonderful. Now, if you could post a link on the show link afterwards to your course, that would be good.
Oh, sure. Yes, absolutely.
Right now, you also this is a Live Video Hub interview, and I just want to say thank you publicly for actually joining the Live Video Hub and supporting it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. I mean, there are now nearly 180 shows on there, and you're one of the first. So thank you from me.
Is that really?
And the Live Video Hub team. And it is just one of those instances where it's right place, right time. And it's nearly 180 shows going live on Facebook, on BeLive.tv. It's like a TV channel. You can actually surf and try different shows, and you can go through. I mean, our aim when we started it was not to actually attract views to the hub. What we're actually doing is attract people to the hub. People find a show and then come direct to your page. That's the way it's designed to work. So thank you for being part of the Live Video.
That's cool to hear that I was one of the first. That's awesome.
All right. Now, in terms of social media, I'm going to put you on a spot here because I can.
You know what? I'm fine with that. Believe me.
No, I knew you would be. What are three things that people should avoid doing on social media as a business?
Okay.
What do you tell your clients not to do?
I would say, let's talk Facebook. I would say on Facebook, I would avoid. Well, I got to say what they should do, really, but
all right. No, let's turn the question 180 degrees. What should good clients do on Facebook and get right?
Okay, perfect. Okay. Well, there's two things on Facebook. Let's just use two on Facebook. You do need to run some ads. You need to put pay behind it, and then you need to respond. You need to give kudos to people that respond to you. So if you are running a page, you need to, and somebody comments on it, you may want to be sure to like it and try to respond back. Take the time to interact, because it is social media, so you need to be interacting. So those would be my top two tips for running a business page. I would assume most of your viewers tend to run businesses, I'm guessing.
Very high percentage are actually on Facebook. And,
you would think so, but okay.
Yeah. For business, really. I think the majority of the shows on BeLive that have got business behind them, and people are trying. I mean, the key is, it is about networking. You can't it's not the place to hard sell, is it?
No, and there's methods to selling you can do on Facebook, but and that's kind of what I teach in my workshop and when I talk about ads. There are places to sell. But go get them on your email list and sell there. That's more for the selling side of things once you've built the relationship with them. Yeah. So building the relationship, and you don't build much of a relationship if you don't respond. True.
Do you recommend using Facebook Messenger as well?
Oh, yes. And even with the ads lately, it's become quite hot just to even do an ad that says, message me for more information, message me for more details. So that would be, I agree with that. And we're into the whole ManyChat thing too. Not real deep though at this point. We've done some testing with it, but it's not, we're not deep into it compared to email list building as much.
I'm a, what's the word, devotee and spokesman for ManyChat. Well, not unofficially. With RJ Redden, we've got a show at 12 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, which is Facebook and Messenger bots. And it's
cool.
all about Messenger bots and using Messenger bots. And we're about to do a Udemy course as well, linking Messenger bots to Facebook to actually build your business. So,
oh, cool. That's cool. And I agree. And with as long as we hook it up, I have a gal that works for me. She's my ManyChat gal. As long as we hook it up, our show each week, it's social coffee time. So that when I do the show, it actually, if they respond with the word coffee, then they'll be put into the ManyChat and get my guide that I have and that kind of thing. So I do definitely use it and integrate it. Is that something for everybody at this point? I can't say everybody, but I definitely think it's great to interact with the Facebook Lives. It's a fantastic add-on, for sure.
And Social Coffee Time is the name of your show.
Yes, that's Social Coffee Time is the name of the, it's a bi-weekly, every other Thursdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. I think it's the second and fourth Thursday. I am potentially looking to move it back to every week. It's just obviously if you can hear what I've talked about, I have a lot going on. So it's tough.
Yes, I can see that, especially with the videos and the podcasts and the courses and the workshops.
Exactly.
And it's been a pleasure to talk. Janet, would you like to close the show by sort of telling people where you can find you and how you can help them?
Yeah, sure. Best place to find me is just janetejohnson.com. You can find we're actually revamping the whole website and I'm making it very simple to figure out what I do. And I do have a guide there that you can download if you want to become part of the email list so that you can get further correspondence. And Business Growth Time and all Social Coffee Times all listed on there too. So how can I help people? Basically, I have the agency side and then I have the course, which I will put in the comments after the show.
Wonderful. It's been a pleasure to talk.
Yeah, fun to talk to you too. Yeah, thank you.
I look forward to watching your shows. And Social Coffee Time, as Janet said, and janetejohnson.com. And you'll put the link in afterwards so everybody can find it. We'll promote this video afterwards. So to everybody who's watched today and commented, especially Corinda, thank you, and Sarah, thank you. Janet and I will see you on BeLive.tv very soon. Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you.
And